Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI coordinator for the city of Appleton, and I'm running solo today. So, Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a better place to live, work, and play. So, whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together. As usual, we have some amazing guests today. And today's amazing guests are William.devine.
Bill. It's Bill.
Bill?
Yeah.
All right. Bill.devine and patrick.lowney.
Lowney, yes.
Lowney. All right. I didn't slaughter it too bad.
No.
All right. My apologies there. And they are both SCORE business mentors for SCORE. Can you tell us about yourselves, please?
Sure, you bet. I am a retired pharmacist. I grew up and went to school in Madison, moved up here roughly 50 years ago, and had started my own pharmacy in the area. And I looked at, when I started thinking about retiring 25 years ago, I looked at some things and decided what to get involved in because my wife sure didn't want me sitting around the house all day. So my father had been involved in the SCORE chapter in Madison for many years. And so I started attending some of their meetings and came on. Actually, today is the 25th anniversary of my first SCORE meeting and officially becoming SCORE 1st of September. And we are very happy to be here, and I really enjoy the area. I really enjoy the people, and I really enjoy helping people with our SCORE program.
And I'm Pat Lowney, and I grew up in the London area. I went to school, college at UW Oshkosh, and
Titan.
Yeah. And after I graduated from there, I took a job with a credit union in Neenah that I eventually became the CEO for 21 years. And one of the things I really liked about the credit union world is they use a catchphrase that's really people helping people, and I really bought into that and stayed in that environment for my whole career. So when I retired 9 years ago, I was looking for some place to get involved in and help out, and somebody made me aware of SCORE, and I joined SCORE and still carry through, and I really like it because it's that people helping people environment that I've spent most of my adult life in.
I like that phrase, people helping people.
Yeah.
Can we steal that for Appleton Engaged?
I think you could go with it.
Fair enough. Can you please share with us about SCORE?
Sure. SCORE is a national organization. It's a subsidiary of the Small Business Administration, and we operate rather independently. Small amount of funding from them on an annual basis, but basically it's a volunteer organization. Everybody that is mentoring for SCORE is a volunteer, and we offer our experiences and our backgrounds to be able to help people who approach us and are looking for help. They may be starting a business up. They may be in business and maybe struggling with some part of it. So my background has primarily been banking, accounting, and some nonprofit backgrounds. Other people have operations or marketing or sales or legal, those kinds of things. And we, as people come into us, we try and get them routed to the people that have the background that will help them the best.
Sounds just perfect. He's accustomed to doing this because I'll give him a plug. He's one of the co-hosts of our Biz Talk on Saturday mornings on WHBY. And we reach out to the community that way, just like, Timber, you're doing with this. And it's a great way to let the community know what we're doing.
How before I started in this position, I didn't know about SCORE, but it would be something amazing to know about. How do people go about finding out about you is maybe a question I want to ask.
I ask pretty much everybody I start working with how they found SCORE, and the answers are varied. A lot of it's word of mouth. They have a friend perhaps that had worked with SCORE and were happy with the experience, and then they searched them out. Sometimes people are out on the internet. They're looking for help in a particular area and don't know where to turn, and they find SCORE and they reach out.
At what point should a person, an entrepreneur, a hopeful entrepreneur, or maybe somebody that's in the process of it, when is the best point to reach out to SCORE?
I would say that there's no specific time, but it's a matter of having people understand that they don't know everything. They may be the best plumber in the county, but that doesn't mean that necessarily you can be successful plumber. On the other hand, so most, I'm going to guess 2/3, 3/4 of the people we see are in the startup phase. But I've had people that have been in business for 20 years that Pat said that they run across a new obstacle, or all of a sudden, they're faced with deciding how to do social media. They have no clue about what to do with social media. Well, we have people that are very good and are experts with that can help them too. So there's a catchphrase of for the life of your business in SCORE. And so there's no bad time. I think it's probably better if you don't get too far down the line and are struggling greatly. You're better off to get us a little bit earlier than that.
And I often ask people when they start working with them, especially in startup situations, how fast are you looking to get this business going? And most of the time, they're in the very early stages. They're thinking about it. But every once in a while, I run into somebody who says, I want to be doing this, have this business open by the end of the month, which is just unrealistic.
Yeah.
And
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. And so then I try and, educate them to say, you know what, there's a couple things here that you're going to have to do that just take more time than that. So, but that doesn't happen often. Usually people are very early in the process of saying, I'm just starting to look around at ideas and things.
Is there a primary kind of business that you tend to work with, or what are examples of some of the kinds of businesses that you've had an opportunity to work with?
Whoa, that's a very wide spectrum. I would not say, now, because of my background in pharmacy, I would say, most of the clients that are going into anything medical. So I have chiropractors and acupuncturists and dentists and, on and on and on. But I have people right now that I'm working, with a women's clothing store. Met this morning with a lady that's in HR consulting. She wants some help. It's a wide range of people. Have you ever figured out what he's nodding his head that that's the right answer, but have you ever figured out that some area where you are called in?
Well, one of the areas that I get called in a lot is on loans. So somebody knows that they may be an established business even, and they know they're going to have to get a loan from a bank. And that's my background. So I'll often get called in and those will say, okay, I'll help evaluate if they're prepared yet to approach the bank or not, and then help them get prepared so that when they do approach the bank, they have a better likelihood of success, or to help them maybe decide that maybe right now isn't the right time to be asking for a bank loan, that there's some other things that they should be working on. It may take a month or a couple months and things that will make them more successful. I work with nonprofits. I've got a couple of nonprofits. One I'm working with right now, it's a startup, which I think is going to really take off well, because the people are very diligent and they're really well thought out and committed to what they're doing. I do a lot of retail also. People want to buy a franchise maybe, or start a store downtown that they just don't know how to do it. They know they want to do this type of store, but they need help to help them kind of get through that maze of make sure they got the right licenses, and they've touched base with the people that they have to in order to do a proper startup.
Yeah, Pat hit the nail on the head there. So many people need money, And frequently they don't recognize that. They're, well, I've got enough money to get going. Well, they don't realize that it's more than get going. It's just a matter of maintaining your business while you're losing money. And most small businesses take a while to break even. So you got to have a little bit more in the bank than just the amount of the initial startup cost. And so virtually all mentors, to one degree or another, work with them. If you get the difficult people, there are several people, including Pat, on our group that we can get that are specialists in that area.
Okay. I know one of the, particularly Bill, because I've had an opportunity to work with you on multiple occasions, that there has been a focus recently, I want to say within the last 2 years, of trying to work, well, not trying, but working with business owners from marginalized communities.
Yes.
And can you tell us more about those efforts?
Well, a couple of years ago, and your timing is just really very accurate, I realized that it's difficult, as you said before, to let the community know we have very little money for marketing, and word of mouth is a big one. We try to reach out to accountants and attorneys and bankers and let them know. But the underserved populations don't know about us very well. And so I've been trying to get out to organizations and with meetings and letting people know, visiting many of the stores that are owned by underserved populations, handing them some information. Maybe they need it, or at least that they could pass it along to some of their customer bases. And it's been fairly successful. We've increased our service of underserved people, and we're still out there doing stuff. We're looking at another panel like we did a year ago for next spring, and trying to get out there to meet people where they're at and let them know what we're doing.
I appreciate those efforts. Are there any signature events that SCORE sponsors or facilitates?
Well, I don't know about events. We're kind of in a weird time, and everybody is, with the fact that we haven't recovered yet from COVID the way things were before COVID. And now a couple of years, we're kind of regaining our footing, I think, and trying to figure out where we go from here. We used to do a lot of live workshops, usually on a monthly basis, that we offered to the community. We found in the last couple of years that online tends to work a lot better for people. Our acceptance, so not just our acceptance, but the acceptance by the people we're working with to use online workshops has really gotten strong, and because it's more convenient for them, they can come when they have the time and things like that. So we put a lot of emphasis into that. We put a lot of emphasis into education. If you go out to our website, score.org/Fox Cities, there's a library out there that is just got a wealth of information that you can go out and search yourself, and then perhaps get in contact with one of us and say, I saw this thing, could you help me with this and help me understand this better? We're starting to come back, like Bill was alluding to, to start developing some of these events that might be able to attract more people in to take a look and hopefully get some education in a short period of time and walk away and feel fulfilled with it.
Yeah, Pat mentioned that we used to spend a lot of time and energy getting an accountant or an attorney or a banker to come in once a month or thereabouts to speak, and we did that for a long time. And COVID greatly shut us down. We have, however, bounced very back with webinars, things like that. The numbers actually of people that we serve are up significantly total, because people find it much more convenient and easier to work with.
Virtual is nice.
It is.
It was a great answer. Is there any additional information that you think is important for Appleton Engaged listeners to know?
Well, I think, I view myself as a connector. And so when people are coming to me, I generally meet people as they first approach SCORE and kind of sort out, what direction they need to go, who might best be able to help them and things. And I think a lot of times when I'm working with people, I find them asking questions about, I don't know how to find an attorney. I don't know how to find an accountant or somebody. I don't know exactly how to do this kind of thing. We don't point people towards specific places. Go to this accountant and you're really going to be happy. But we'll give them a source of, say, 5 different accounting firms that we've found work well with small businesses, and say, talk to all 5 of them and find one that works with you. Develop you'll pick up on who is interested in a relationship with you, that kind of thing. So I see, and that's the benefit, I think, of reaching out, because a lot of times people are saying, I just don't know. And maybe I can, maybe I do, and I can help you directly. But oftentimes, too, it's, I need to reach out to somebody else or point them. And that's hopefully where I can deliver some value, is to be able to say, go talk to these people and see what they can do, and give me a call back. And if that doesn't work for you, we'll figure something else out.
One of the things that just occurred to me, we've been sitting here talking for however long it's been, and we haven't mentioned what I consider is probably the foremost advantage of SCORE. There is absolutely, positively no fees involved. So one of the things with most small businesses, they're starting up, money is tight. So accountants and attorneys and consultants are all very expensive. And we are there providing absolutely free service, 25 years, never got a nickel out of it. But we're happy to do it, as mentors are, because we're trying to help folks, and get them on the right path. And I've had some, very successful people. I think we've had, sometimes the mentors talk about having success and people deciding they don't want to proceed, or right now isn't the time to proceed because of various factors. It can be lack of funds. It can be not understanding the business as much as they should. So there's a whole wide range of reasons why people decide, and they are the decision makers. And as I stress upon my clients, I'm here to give you some advice, but you are the decision maker in all of this. And whether, what your name is, and when you start in business, how you run your business, I can make some suggestions, but you're making decisions. It's your business.
Is there a narrative you can share to help our listeners understand the impact of SCORE?
I think the narrative, it's a little bit difficult because for confidentiality, I really can't name names, but I think the narrative comes from the success that we hear from people, the gratitude of saying, thank you, I hadn't thought about that. Sometimes one of the parts of this process is being able to help people, not tell them that they need to discover this, but help them understand that maybe the idea they've got isn't the best idea to go forward with. So what we're really searching for is the right answer for them, and not trying to guide them into an answer, but to say to them, let's talk about all the facets of this. And then you decide, if you want to keep going with this, realize you're going to have to overcome some of these things. We also, one of the things that happens is we have the folks that our national organization does is they fill surveys out if they wish to kind of grade us and how we're doing. And those are always good to hear, because oftentimes, sometimes they tell us things we may not want to hear but need to, because that's how we grow too. And we don't have all the answers. We're just on this journey, maybe a step or two ahead kind of thing. But the feedback I get from those is really gratifying. It's what keeps me coming back.
I'll give you a sort of a specific on a client, no names or anything, but I ran into a family that wanted to get involved in a retail business over 20 years ago. And I helped them get open, and they were pretty successful, but I would stop in periodically. It was out by the mall, so once in a while it was a retail business, and so frequently at Christmas time or birthday time for my wife or something, I'd stop in and check on them, see how they're doing, and they did very nicely. And 3 or 4 years ago now, I got a phone call from the lady, and she said, we've kind of decided to get out of business. It's been good. We want to sell the business if we can, but we're going to close because we want to spend more time with the grandkids. And after 20 years, it's been a long haul. So I worked with them to arrange an exit out of the business. They tried to sell it, really didn't. It was sort of some of the downturn, and COVID was coming and stuff, and it just didn't sell, but they ended up closing, and I still run into them here and there. It was the lady and her daughter, and I ran into the daughter a couple of months ago at a social event, and she was telling me how wonderful life has been, that she can spend more time with her kids and stuff, and that it was very rewarding that they did well in business and they are reaping the benefits now, and that makes you feel good that you were a part of that in some degree.
Yes, facts. Okay. Are there any upcoming events, engagement opportunities?
One of the things that our chapter is doing a little bit later this month, and we're doing it in conjunction with SCORE chapters throughout Wisconsin, is promoting a conference down in Green Lake, and it's called Accelerate Your Business for Women Business Owners. So it's focusing on women business owners, and it's September 12th down in Green Lake. If you want to know more about it, go out to score.org/Fox Cities. You can find out more and you can register out there. But we're trying, it's an attempt we're coming back at to try and provide an event where women can get together and hear some really good speakers, but also be able to talk to each other and hear what other women business owners are going through, the people you're eating lunch with or perhaps out in the hall with and things like that between programs and things. And that's something we'd like to promote and hope that someone listening might be able to take advantage of.
And I mentioned before, it doesn't look like we're going to do anything this fall, but this underserved panel that we were talking about with several other organizations, undoubtedly that will be next spring. Some of the people that were involved in the last one have moved on, and lots of busyness and all of these organizations, so we just need a little bit more time, but that will be undoubtedly next spring.
Is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
I think one of the things that we always need is more mentors. And so if you are out there and you've got some background, and it doesn't have to be like you were the CEO of something or even a vice president of something, but you had experience in your career working in human resources, for example, or marketing, or any of these disciplines and you feel a desire to help others who are looking for that kind of background, we'd love to talk to you. Again, you can go out to our SCORE website, then there's a volunteer button on there. Click on the volunteer button and search out. We'll get a hold of you and we'll talk to you, and we can decide whether it's something you want to go forward with. But we, obviously are looking for more clients too, people looking for help and things. So we need both. But, if somebody's out there, you probably, if you've got a background, if you worked in it, you probably got a skill set. You don't have to think that I didn't run a company or something, so I can't do this. You can.
And this is one of the only organizations that I've ever been involved with where we're not asking for donations. Very frugal organization. Nobody gets a paycheck in our area, and we're not asking for donations, but we definitely need volunteers. And word of mouth, you mentioned that before. That is terrific for both clients and mentors. That many of our mentors will come from, say, my buddy told me that he's been doing this, and I'm here to check you out. So please come and check us out.
And one more thing I'd like to add is, obviously we will help train you so that you're not going to get thrown cold into this either. That will help you so that you become comfortable. You may say, I don't know if I can do this or not. Yeah, you could do this, and we'll take and help you through that until you get comfortable to the point you're ready to take it on.
Awesome. Who can people contact if they want to learn more?
The best place is to go out to the website, score.org/Fox Cities. Click on a volunteer button, or if you're looking for help, if you've got a small business and you're thinking about starting one, or you have one where you have some questions and you're like just somebody to talk to, click on, there's a button on there for that too. Click on that, and one of us will get a hold of you.
All right.
And I will get one last pitch here that there is no charge for this, okay? And people regularly, because I think we're accustomed to society and the way things go, is that, you don't come for the first one and there's no charge, and then you start getting a bill. No way. 25 years, never a bill.
All right.
That's a really good deal.
I think it's the best deal I've heard. It's hard to outdo free.
Yeah.
All right. It is shout out time. So, Pat and Bill, any shout outs?
Well, I think the shout out that we always have to give is to the other people that are part of our group. We've got a group of about 40 people right now, mentors and support people and things that help us. And as a group, we work hard to make sure that we deliver a good service to the folks that we're working with. So I want to thank those. And there's SCORE chapters, one in Green Bay, one in Stevens Point. There's a couple more around the state, and those folks are doing the same kind of work. So
I guess mine would be, that's right, that, the average mentor and the people that are involved. But I've been amazed, especially the last 10 years, of the wonderful leadership that we've had. We've had 3 or 4 chairs during that time, and each one of them have been excellent, moving us forward, because SCORE National is implementing new programs and trying to help us, and that's great. But if we don't have the leadership here locally to implement those programs, it's not going to work. So Kathleen Wall happens to be our current chair, and she and her predecessors done a great job leading us on here, because just having an organization is fine, but if you're not going all in the same direction and not having backup and somebody to help you out, it makes it difficult. And she and they that have done a great job.
All right, at this time, we're going to start wrapping it up. So I just want to say thank you so much, Appleton Engaged listeners, for spending time with us, giving us your ears and your minds for a little bit of time here. We want you to know we are a work in progress, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us and give us suggestions on how we can make the show better, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you would like to recommend a guest for the show. We are always looking for new guests, and you can reach us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. And we have one more request, and that is, please take time, if you're listening to this podcast, please take time to subscribe to this podcast, and also leave us a review. What this does is it helps our analytics, so more people can find out about this jewel that we have here in Appleton. So at this time, let me just say, until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.